So my quest for low-cost, interesting minis has continued. Again, just looking to answer questions when folks say, "Look, I think this stuff looks interesting, this Warhammer 40K stuff, but gosh, it's expensive." What alternatives are there? And of course, I showed the stuff that I'm doing from Mantic Games and the diorama that I'm going to be doing with that. But recently I was watching a channel called Sonic Sledgehammer, and he kind of clued me into some things that I was not aware of. He painted up these minis, one of these, from a set called, now, my French is non-existent. I guess this is Les Grognards, Les Grognards, Les Grognards. So I don't know. I'm from the South in the U.S. Les Grognards. He's a guy that, is down at the VFW, got that, big old infected toenail, but he always insists on wearing flip-flops. Les Grognard. Anyway, he built one of these. And then when I went to look at the website for the company that puts these out, War Games Atlantic, I found some other interesting stuff. Among them, these, why don't they just call them simple names? Raumjäger Infantry. I don't know what a Rom is or a Jaeger, but it's some infantry. But it's from this series that they call Death Fields. Now, the premise of Death Fields, given the 30 seconds that I read the listing about what it's about, apparently aliens come to Earth and they start kidnapping soldiers throughout history, and they take them someplace and they use them in real battles where they attack each other and one side wins, and then everybody's regenerated and they go back and do it again. So, the idea is they collect, some German paratroopers, some French soldiers throughout history. They get British soldiers. There's all sorts of them that they gather up, and, they have everything from period weapons to laser guns and, the whole nine yards. So it really just is some interesting results that you can get. Now, of course, what a lot of people, I guess, would use these for is for gaming within Warhammer 40K, and that's what interested me, not playing the game, but the look of them. Now, what interested me about old Les Grognard here is that they look kind of like, if you're familiar with Warhammer 40K, they look kind of like the Death Corps of Krieg soldiers, which I have one of those, and it just basically looks kind of like a World War I soldier with a gas mask. I mean, that's the best way I can think to describe it. But these have a lot of different options, and they've got these cool giant hats, and then they've got some more World War I-like helmets, and then they've got the French Foreign Legion kind of look to them, and they've got all these weapons. And when I saw Sonic Sledgehammer, and I never can remember that guy's name. Anyway, when I saw Sonic Sledgehammer painting these up, he painted them up like Death Corps of Krieg, if you're familiar with the lore of the 143rd Siege Regiment. The look that, if you have seen Death Corps of Krieg, that look with the kind of gray overcoat and all that, he painted them up like that. And I really liked those because I wanted to build some Death Corps of Krieg looking soldiers, but it was the expense that really got to me. Now, I could have bought them. There's things that I probably spend money on that I shouldn't, but I could have bought them. But I'm like, okay, I'm only going to build a few of these. But that's a lot of money for a few. Well, these are a little less expensive, and the reason that I wanted to get them, this box was $34, but it builds 24 troops, and they've got all of these different head options, and you can have all sorts of them. There's 192 total heads in this. And so suddenly what you have is a whole bunch of spares that have everything from these big caps on them to the World War I looking helmets with and without gas mask. Everything is with and without gas mask. So you have loads and loads of variations, and you can throw these in the spares box and use them on just about any 28 millimeter figure. So these really, really jumped out at me. Now the Raumjäger infantry, I really liked these because they look like what's called, I think it's the Steel Legion from Warhammer 40K. Some soldiers that, again, had that kind of World War I look to them. They had these yellowish overcoats, that kind of thing. But the Games Workshop models are older, and they're still the metal figures. And while I've built metal stuff, I've used metal, in my opinion, life is too short for metal, resin, and photo etch unless there's just no other choice. And when I ran across these, when I saw this picture on their website, I'm like, that looks just like the Steel Legion. So again, I was like, I want to get these. And again, there's 24 in the box. And you've got all sorts of options with helmets, closed mask, open mask, cap heads, bear heads, weapons options, all of that. And what's really cool is if you are a gamer and you're trying to build up your army, the more boxes you buy, the better price they give you on the War Games Atlantic website. So I'll link to it down below. But I was really impressed with, one, that these are on a per soldier basis. They're much cheaper than Games Workshop. But I just thought, because they look like I wanted, I'm not interested in having genuine Steel Legion. I just wanted something plastic that looks like this to paint because I think it's just cool. So this one immediately caught my eye too. Now, what really pleased me when they arrived was taking a look at the figures themselves. You know, when I got the ones from Mantic Games, they look good and their casting is fairly good. It's about on the level of Star Wars Legion, something like that. But when these figures arrived and I got to looking at them, this is Games Workshop good, just about. Maybe just a little softer in some of the details, like on the guns and things like that, but only by just the barest margin. So these really impressed me with the quality of the casting, and because the new Games Workshop stuff, those Gaunt's Ghosts that I built back in January, the castings on those were amazing. But honestly, these aren't far off at all. They're really sharp, loads of detail in them, very nice sculpts. They're going to be a lot of fun to paint. I mean, look at those big hats with the big feathers sticking off the top, and you know, the helmets and the gas masks and all of that stuff. Just a load of detail, load of weapons options. There's not a bunch of different poses. You basically get like multiple sets of these sprues. So that's pretty much the posing of the figures. There's just a few varieties of that, but you can load them up with different weapons, loads of different helmet options. What I'm going to do when I do these on video is I'm probably going to paint maybe 5, maybe 6, and just do some different variations on it and paint them up. And my plan is to you know, do those, maybe try and sell them, and then later on down the road, take some of these and some of the Raumjäger infantry and maybe some other stuff that they have, because they have quite a range of cool looking minis, and see how much I can kit bash and see what I can come up with. It's just really interesting looking, because, you know, with all these, when I get done, even if I build 6 of them, that means I'm going to have 186 heads still available. So there's plenty of heads to use, plenty of weapons and arms to use. So these will be great as spares, or if I want to build something down the road, you know, maybe I want to try a new paint line or a new technique of painting, or, you know, do one of those. I haven't done one yet, but, you know, I'm thinking about doing a humorous version of, you know, how to do a wonderful mini painting in 5 minutes or less, you know, and just do something really kind of ridiculous to poke fun at it. Anyway, that's just an idea kicking around my head. But anyway, if you're looking for some interesting figures, especially if you've got some friends locally that you've been talking about, maybe building some, and they're thinking, yeah, I'd like to try this. This would be a great way to do it, because you could split this up between 2, 3, 4 people and just divide the sprues up. It's not going to cost you very much, and you get to paint a lot of minis. And if you are into tabletop gaming, you can boost up your force real quick for not near as much money as you're going to pay Games Workshop. Now, of course, if you play the game, you know that if you try to take it to a Games Workshop tournament, something they sponsor, or if somebody's sponsoring something that's just pure GW only, they're going to tell you, no, you can't play with those, which I don't get, but whatever. People look at our hobby and they go, I don't get that either. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to, hey, I went into Mr. Ed voice there. I'm really looking forward to building some of these and having some fun with them.